What can you find in the third class of a Russian train during a 57 hours journey? Well, I didn't expect to find birds, cats, even doggos, not to mention the massive amount of beers in the restaurant car. After I arrived to China by bike, if you haven't done it yet, go and watch the entire movie on my channel. I had to decide how to get back to Europe. And guess what? I chose to travel by train through Russia. I have told you the story already, but now I want to explain you exactly how it works. This incredible train journey, the longest in the world. I will show you the differences between the first, the second and the third class. And finally, I will tell you what happened during the interrogation at the border. Let's start with the third class, where I stayed for the entire journey. Honestly, I would have chosen it anyways, because I think that the core of travels is living the real life. And this real life, you live it just when you travel cheap. On top of that, I also chose it because at the end of the day, it was the cheapest option. So it was 57 hours of train just for 100 euros. I was literally in the last spot of the last car. Behind me, there was nothing. The third class is the most basic and for sure also the most intense. It is an open carriage with 54 beds, no doors, no walls, just rows of bunks stretching the length of the train. You sleep most of the time, but I must say that the beds are big and long enough. Then, sometimes during the day, people close the lower beds and these places become the seats to eat. And in my case, I did not manage to change money before entering the train, so I had to survive with few euros, basically ranging from bread with tomatoes to bread with honey. This car is an open space. There is no privacy, but it is full of life. People share food, talk, have discussions, snore. There were kids running around and grandmas having conversation for the entire time. For the entire trip, there was this enormous guy in front of me, and I'm telling you, he didn't say any word. And they were 57 hours. I think the worst are the stops during the night because people come up and people go down. And actually, one of these nights, the ambulance had to come because of one of the women that were below me that was not feeling good. But the most surprising thing for the third class is the third class plus. The seats were all of a sudden not blue anymore, but red. And I was in a zoo. Someone had a cat, someone had doggos, and also someone had birds. You can imagine the smell in that wagon. So third class, cheap, chaotic, but beautiful.
By the way, guys, let's have a look of these interesting panels in which we can see the timings of when they're gonna clean, basically. And both the wagon, the car, and the toilets. So let's take some time to have a toilet tour. As you can see, no smoking. We have some paper towel, some toilet paper, the toilet itself. Then we have a small window, I guess, for all the smell. And in the sink we have got water, soap, some plug, maybe for the hair. This is myself. And let's see here, we have all the timings in which the toilets have been cleaned and what was done. Here we see that the last time it was at 5, but was it 5 in Moscow or 5 in Vladivostok? Changes everything.
I was listening to the ocean.
Before going to the third class, lecture moment. The Trans-Siberian Railway is one of the most legendary train routes in the world. It was built more than 1 century ago in order to connect Moscow to the far east of Russia, to Vladivostok. It stretches over 9,000 kilometers for 155 hours in total, and it is the longest continuous railway on the planet. You can also go to Mongolia and to China with it. I didn't start from the beginning though. Actually, I started in Novosibirsk, right at the heart of Siberia. It is very close to Kazakhstan. It is the third largest city in Russia and the unofficial capital of Siberia. It is a massive Soviet-era hub, already pretty cold when I was there, with this night air that honestly hits you like a wall. From there, the train keeps heading west, crossing 7 time zones, rolling past birch forest, lakes, and wooden villages that look like they are stuck in time. You stop quite often, once every couple of hours, and the travelers go up and down in the most important cities, Omsk, Yekaterinburg, until eventually reaching Moscow.
I had a dream I was 7.
Second class or coupe is a bit more private. You share your compartment with 4 other people, 2 upper and 2 lower, and there is a door that you can shut and maybe even lock. So it is a little bit more peaceful and quiet. It is still communal because you can still speak with the people within your cabin, but it is not as communal as before. You've got a little table, the curtains, and the 2 most important things. You have snacks that you can buy whenever you want during all the trip, and there is always boiling water for you. This makes a huge difference. On one hand, because you can always drink your tea, and in Russia they drink a lot of tea, but also to cook noodles, because at the end of the day it is the best type of food you can eat on the train. The price here is around 160 to 200 euros.
I was dancing in the rain, I felt alive and I can't.
Finally, there is the first class, the Spalny wagon. This is a 2-bed private compartment, usually shared with another person or booked alone. It's for sure quiet, spacious and more comfortable. Sometimes you even have the meals included with some packages. And you definitely relax, but you miss the entire human part of the trip. That is the core of this type of travel at the end of the day. Imagine 6 days alone on a beautiful wagon in Siberia. Boring. Prices here were around 400 euros, and for all the prices I suggest you to refer to some Russians, because in this way I saved 30 euros.
Now take me home, take me home.
Now, how did I enter in Russia? Getting the visa in reality was not a problem at all. I got it online, I paid the fee and I arrived at the border with Kazakhstan. Unfortunately here the land border was closed, so I had to fly from Astana to Novosibirsk due to some political problems. It was 1-hour flight and honestly it broke my plan to do entirely by train, so I was very sad about it. Once I landed, I arrived to the controls and they told me to wait. So I waited. Nobody was there anymore. I was completely alone in the airport. Finally, 4 guys arrived and they brought me in a small office, where just one of them entered, leaving the door open behind him. The other 3 were outside, watching my back. Now, he was very serious, he didn't speak too much, and he asked me what were the reasons of my travel. This was probably the most sketchy part, because of course I just told him about my travel by bike, and then he asked me to look at the photos. Not just in the gallery, but also on Telegram. Looking into all my private chats. It was not the best, but honestly it could have been way worse, so at the end of the day they told me, okay, you can go. And I guess that this is the moment in which this video starts.
I was running far away, would I run off the world someday? Nobody knows.